What if I told you one of America's most famous snacks did not become legendary because it was neat, polite, or easy to eat, but because it stained your fingers bright orange and made you lick the evidence? Today, we are talking about Cheetos, the crunchy, cheesy, dangerously addictive snack that somehow went from a weird little corn puff to one of the loudest foods in American culture. And if you think Cheetos are just chips in a bag, you are already underestimating them, because this snack is not really about cheese, and it is not really about corn. It is about mess. It is about flavor dust. It is about school lunches, gas stations, vending machines, convenience stores, late-night cravings, and one very strange American idea. Food should be fun enough to leave proof on your hands. The story begins before Cheetos became a meme, before Flamin Hot turned snack aisles into a red-orange battlefield, and before people started putting Cheetos on burgers, mac and cheese, fried chicken, sushi rolls, and basically anything that could survive being covered in neon dust. To understand Cheetos, we have to go back to the early days of American snack food, when companies were figuring out how to turn corn, oil, salt, and flavoring into something people would eat by the handful without thinking. The man usually connected to the birth of Cheetos is Charles Elmer Doolin, the same businessman behind Fritos. Doolin was obsessed with corn snacks, and in the mid-20th century, America was becoming the perfect place for them. Families were buying packaged food, supermarkets were growing, television was changing advertising, kids were becoming powerful little customers, and companies realized something important. If you could make a snack cheap, crunchy, shelf-stable, and full of flavor, you could make it part of daily life. Cheetos arrived in 1948, and at first they were not the giant cultural monster we know today. They were a cheese-flavored corn snack, strange enough to feel new, familiar enough to feel safe. That combination is the secret of so many American foods. They look a little weird, but not too weird. They feel like a treat, but they come in a bag. They are technically made from ordinary ingredients, but by the time food science is done with them, they feel like something from another planet. Cheetos had a texture that mattered. They were crunchy but airy. They were salty but creamy. They tasted like cheese, but not exactly like any cheese you would slice onto a sandwich. This was not farmhouse cheese. This was snack cheese. It was louder, brighter, simpler, and more addictive. And then there was the dust. The dust is the whole thing. Cheetos dust is not just seasoning. It is branding you can feel. It sticks to your fingers. It gets under your nails. It turns eating into a tiny crime scene. Most foods try to disappear politely after you eat them. Cheetos stay behind. They say, "Yes, you ate me, and now everyone knows." That should have been a problem. Instead, it became part of the pleasure. The orange fingers became the receipt. Kids did not hate it, they loved it. Adults pretended to be annoyed, then ate them too. Over time, Cheetos became one of those snacks that did not need to be explained. You saw the bag, you knew the flavor, you knew the feeling. But Cheetos did not become truly unstoppable until the brand found a personality. Enter Chester Cheetah, the sunglasses-wearing, smooth-talking mascot who made the snack feel less like food and more like attitude. Chester was not selling nutrition, he was not selling tradition, he was selling coolness, mischief, and the idea that eating a cheesy snack could make you feel like you were getting away with something. That is very American. A lot of iconic American junk food does not sell itself as food, it sells a mood. Coca-Cola sells happiness, McDonald's sells convenience and childhood memory. Pop-Tarts sell permission to eat dessert for breakfast. Cheetos sell playful chaos. You do not eat Cheetos because you are trying to be responsible. You eat them because responsibility left the room for 5 minutes. And then, just when regular Cheetos had already become a snack aisle classic, the story got hotter, messier, and more complicated. Flamin' Hot Cheetos changed everything. Suddenly, Cheetos were not just cheesy. They were spicy, red, intense, and a little rebellious. They looked like something your parents might tell you not to eat too much of, which of course made them even more powerful. Flamin' Hot Cheetos became especially huge with younger people, and part of the reason is obvious. They taste like a dare. They are not quietly sweet, they are not gently salty. They attack a little. They make your fingers red, they make your mouth burn, they make you want another one even while your brain is asking why you are doing this. That is not just a snack, that is an experience. But the origin story of Flamin' Hot Cheetos became almost as famous as the product itself. For years, one of the most popular stories was that Richard Montañez, a Frito-Lay janitor, helped create the flavor after being inspired by Mexican street food and pitching the idea to executives. It is an incredible story. An employee at the bottom of the company sees something nobody else sees, brings culture and flavor into the boardroom, and changes snack history. It is exactly the kind of story people want to believe because it feels like a movie. In fact, it eventually did become movie material, but the story is also disputed. Frito-Lay has said its internal records point to a different development process, involving company teams already working on spicy snacks. So what do we do with that? We do the honest thing. We say the myth matters, even if the paperwork is complicated. Because the reason the Montañez story caught fire is the same reason Flamin' Hot Cheetos caught fire. People saw themselves in it. They saw immigrant flavor. They saw working-class ambition. They saw Latino food culture reshaping mainstream America. They saw a snack that did not feel like it came from a quiet corporate lab, even if corporate labs were absolutely involved. Flamin' Hot Cheetos tasted like the supermarket finally turned the volume up. That is why the snack moved beyond the bag. It became part of school culture. It became part of internet culture. It became part of hip-hop references, convenience store runs, lunchroom trades, and food mashups. People crushed it into powder and used it as breading. Restaurants put it on menus because bright red crunch sells. Food companies noticed that consumers wanted bigger flavors, more heat, more color, and more drama. In a way, Flamin' Hot Cheetos helped teach America that snacks did not have to be mild. They could be aggressive. They could be spicy. They could be emotional. They could be identity in a bag. Of course, this is where the story gets uncomfortable, because Cheetos also show us how powerful modern snack design really is. These foods are engineered to be easy to keep eating. They are crunchy, salty, fatty, flavorful, and light enough that you can eat a lot before you feel like you ate a lot. That is not an accident. Snack companies know texture matters. They know the sound of a crunch matters. They know flavor buildup matters. They know the little hit of salt and fat and spice can make your hand keep returning to the bag almost automatically. Cheetos are fun, but they are also a masterpiece of food design. And that is the weird tension at the center of the story. Cheetos are silly, but serious money. They are childish, but scientifically designed. They are cheap, but culturally powerful. They are not a meal, but they have probably been part of millions of lunches. Parents complain about them, kids crave them, adults secretly buy them, and the orange dust keeps showing up everywhere. The strangest part is that Cheetos turned mess into loyalty. Most brands want their product to feel clean and polished. Cheetos built a kingdom on residue. The dust is annoying, but it is also the ritual. You eat the snack, then you lick your fingers, and that final moment almost feels designed into the product. It is the snack refusing to end when the bag leaves your mouth. That is why Cheetos are hard to replace. A normal cheese puff can taste good, but Cheetos have a whole performance built around them. The crunch, the color, the mascot, the fingers, the smell when you open the bag, the guilty feeling, the joke that you were only going to eat a few. And then came the endless variations: crunchy Cheetos, puffs, Flamin' Hot, jalapeno, extra spicy versions, popcorn, mac and cheese, limited flavors, collaborations, and products that prove one thing very clearly. Cheetos is no longer just a snack. It is a flavor system. It can invade other foods and still be recognizable. That is when you know a brand has won, when Cheetos becomes not just something you eat, but a taste, a color, a texture, and a cultural shortcut. If something is covered in orange cheese dust, people understand the message instantly. It means fun. It means junk food. It means no one is pretending this is a salad. And maybe that honesty is part of why people love it. Cheetos do not whisper about wellness. They do not ask to be taken seriously. They show up bright orange, loud, salty, ridiculous, and completely confident. In a food culture full of labels trying to sound natural, clean, ancient, artisanal, and wholesome, Cheetos are almost refreshing because they are so obviously unnatural. No one opens a bag of Flamin Hot Cheetos and thinks, "Ah yes, the gentle taste of the countryside." You know exactly what you are getting. You are getting heat, crunch, color, and regret you will probably repeat next week. So what is the weird history of Cheetos really about? It is about how America learned to snack for entertainment. It is about turning corn into personality. It is about how artificial cheese became more emotionally recognizable than real cheese. It is about how a messy orange finger became one of the strongest brand signatures in food history. And it is about how one snack managed to be embarrassing, addictive, nostalgic, controversial, and iconic, all at the same time. Cheetos are not just food. They are proof that in America, a snack does not have to be clean, elegant, or even reasonable to become legendary. Sometimes all it needs is crunch, heat, a cartoon cheetah, and enough orange dust to make your fingertips confess.